Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Moon. The Garage Gym Athlete Podcast is a result of my desire to build better humans, unequivocal coaches, and autonomous athletes. I've spent the last several years obsessing over program design, nutrition, and every other way you can optimize human performance. This podcast distills the latest scientific research with what I've learned and blends it with the not-so-scientific field of mental toughness. We are here to build you into a dangerously effective athlete. If you enjoy this podcast, you can find out more about our training at garagegymathlete.com. And if you want to pursue more into the field of coaching and programming, head to endof3fitness.com. Thanks for listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jared Moon here with Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Jared.
You're rocking the exerciser athlete shirt, man, which
Everybody always reads this and says something to me about it. And they're either really confused or they just try to make a joke. And it's just one of those where I'm like, do I really want to wear this one today?
It's like the hard to kill shirt that we used to have that just straight up says in your face, hard to kill. And people are like, I don't know if I want to wear that around in public. It's like a challenge.
Same with the Murph shirt. It's like kill comfort, do Murph. And then everybody's like, what's Murph? Well, now I got to go down this whole rabbit hole.
Questions.
Segue, Murph.
We're here with Chris Morgan. What's up, Chris?
Happy Thurf Day, guys.
Oh, yeah, it is for you.
Oh, that's just the stars aligned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, it wasn't planned. Destiny.
Is this your third appearance, Chris, or just your second?
It's my second, and it's like almost a year to the day, actually.
Okay. I've talked to you so many times. I guess I feel like you've been on the podcast more.
Yeah, I think it might have been December 19 when I last did this. So yeah, it's been a little over a year.
Well, that's awesome because things have changed. I mean, at least one thing I know you're working on with Murf being pretty crazy. So yeah, man, give us some updates. And also, quick intro for anybody who maybe didn't catch the first one, definitely go back. We keep everybody's name in the podcast so they're searchable. So if you do want to go listen to Chris's first podcast, just type in Chris Morgan. You'll be able to find him on our feed. But Chris, give us some updates or a quick intro, and then we'll get into updates.
Sure. Yeah. So, Chris Morgan. I live just west of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I turn 37 tomorrow. Just celebrated my 15-year anniversary about a month ago. 3 kids, 13, 11, and 7. And I really hope I got that right, or I will get made fun of by my wife.
Well, it changes all the time. It's not really fair,
Yeah, I mean, come on. I kind of remember their birthdays. And then, so outside of the training, I'm controller for a subsidiary of a big utility company. And we do renewable energy development and operations. So very busy career, very busy family, and very, very busy training schedule since there's nothing else to do right now.
Right. And yeah, man. So I guess when did you officially start your Murf project? And we could talk about exactly what you're doing, but when did you start it?
It was Memorial Day on a whim. Trampus, give credit where credit's due, just said, hey, we should just do this. The impetus for that is we were all supposed to do the Spartan race, the Carolinas Beast. And so we started that group, just sort of that group chat to kind of coordinate and discuss training and preparation for that. While with the COVID shenanigans and everything looking less likely like it was going to happen, we all just decided to jump into the 52 weeks of Murph thing instead. So that was the beginning.
Yeah, that's basically a Spartan race, right?
Yeah.
So
very, very long.
So you're doing Murf once a week, which is becoming like a bigger deal in this community. I guess, and not a bigger deal, but more and more people are doing it, which I think is really cool. But you're not just doing it once a week. You're doing it twice a week, right?
Actually more.
You've upped it.
Yeah, it started there. So I have to give some credit to Chris Jung, who's in the group that's doing this. But early on in the challenge, he was talking about these 24-hour Murph things that people have done. And it was like mid-June or something. So we just pretty much were like 2-3 weeks into the challenge. And I'd never even done it twice before. And I didn't have a vest yet either. So I just went, it was this random Saturday, and it was actually had a lot to do with the Spartan training, because I was still optimistic that was going to happen. And so my plan was to spend Saturdays building up a lot of volume of activity on Saturdays, like start with 2 hours, a month later, work up to 2.5, and just very slowly kind of work up to kind of a work capacity that would meet sort of that requirement for the Spartan Beast. Cause I've never done anything like that before. So my first thing was, well, why don't I just do Murph twice, just back to back and see how it goes. And, I slowed down. It wasn't like a true zone 2 attempt or anything, but I got through it and I felt really good. And then that sort of just put an idea in my head, like, oh, if I could do it twice and it wasn't that big of a deal, I wonder how many times I could do it in a year. So the plan was to maybe just do it twice a week, but it just sort of started spiraling out of control, because I always do it on Thursday. That's the origin of the Thurf Day thing, which has become kind of its own thing. A lot of people have started doing that. But then I had these Spartan Saturdays where it was just like, it seemed like every other weekend I was doing Murph twice. And, I started putting those into a spreadsheet and looking at where I was going to end. And it was like, man, you're already like, if you just maintain this pace of like doing it once on Thursday and doing it twice on Saturday, you're going to end at like 160 Murphs, which is a lot for a year, but it's more than 156, but it's not 200. So what would you have to do to get to 208? Oh, you just have to do it on Sunday, but you have a deficit to make up, right? Because you haven't been doing it. So then how would you have to structure that work, right? Well, then I started thinking, okay, well, we have deload weeks, which the training's a little less, and then we have fit week. What if I did extra credit Murphs during deload week and fit week? Could I work up to that number? And it's sort of just all really randomly worked out to get right to 200 if I could, stay really consistent. And I had to build up to the volume too, obviously, because you can't just start doing Murph 4 times a week. And I also wanted to incorporate the vest, because I had never done a vested Murph. So credit on that goes to Matt. I hope I pronounce his last name, Fiebig. I think he's on BCT. Mm-hmm. But he popped over at my house when he was first moving to the area, and we did a Murph, and he's like, you should just get a vest. And like literally that morning I logged on and lucked out in the middle of the pandemic that the Rogue cast plates were available and the vest was available. So anyway, that's where we are. So, right now in the challenge, I'm 1 behind technically, through this period. So I'm at 120 Murphs for the year. And I am at 65 vested and 55 unvested. So that's sort of the status of where I am.
That's crazy, man. I mean, part of me thinks that you're trying to beat my all-time record of most Murphs completed. Is there any truth to that?
There's no truth to that. So this gets into what this really is for me. And I think it has a lot to do with how I've adjusted my training somewhat in response to this challenge, but also really embracing that training mentality over a testing mentality. Is I've I've reduced the intensity with which I train, but I've really increased the volume of what I do and consistency, right? So I'm very, very intense about consistency, but I don't try to beat myself every time in training, right? And that sort of mental surrender to the process and to the training is so beneficial just for your mentality as an athlete, I think, because, it's much better to go do it and look at it like, oh, we're just going to be training these energy systems. That's what you're going to do. Whatever you're feeling up to for that day, that's fine, right? Like if you listen to your body, listen to your brain, and if it's like, we're going to go hard today, you go hard. But, if you need to throttle back and still be consistent with your training, I think that's great. So that's sort of my mentality now with training.
Yeah, I think you have to, especially with Murph, man, with how much volume you're doing. I know the first year I did it, nothing but intensity. Like every single time, it was rare for me to step to it. Yeah. And that became very challenging, just knowing that was my personal expectation walking into it. But then the second time I did it, the second year, I just couldn't do it. I didn't have I joked that it was the third kid because Eleanor, my daughter, she wasn't in existence during the first one, but then the second year, and I was just the third kid pushed me over the edge. I can't handle that level of intensity every week anymore. Mm-hmm. And the training Murphs, they're a necessity, man, but they're also, they're a lot of fun. Cause I'm sure you do most of your pull-ups strict, don't you?
All of them. Cause I've never really learned to kip, and I'm definitely not a natural at pull-ups. So, very much, I think, so Ryan Caswell and I have very much made, the Murph project training along with the challenge, right? So we're really focused particularly on pull-ups and strict movements and just trying to build proficiency. So, yeah, I don't care about the time at all. I got a little bit lazy, and in fact, I'm really starting more recently to be very disciplined about trying to stay in zone 2 during Murph. And that's been challenging with the vest, obviously, and just day to day, but it's really, it's just really had a lot of physical benefits. I feel like when you do that type of volume in zone 2, it's just so damn good for you. You just feel good when you're done, and you feel good the next day, and it doesn't take a lot out of you, but you're getting better at everything just very, very slowly. So
where are you at mentally with doing it? Because I know, are you at a point where you're like, I can't wait for this to be over? Or are you more like, you're just okay with this being your life?
What am I going to do with my time?
Right.
Yeah. I would say I'm just okay right now. I dread the doubles still on Saturdays, even though it's zone 2, it's a lot of volume.
And a time, right?
It's 2 hours with the warm up, right? So, cause I have to be so careful. Because the worst thing that could happen here is get to 150 and then something go wrong, just because it's I don't want to start over. That would just be crushing, right? So I'm very, I have to be super disciplined about my warm up and really take care of my shoulders, because that's really where something's going to go wrong. It's going to be your shoulders, I feel like. Because the only thing I'm fighting with right now, and have been really the whole time, is just some tendonitis in the forearms. And my left hand is a little sore from actually a front squat thing. It's just I sprained my middle finger, but it doesn't hurt gripping. It just, my hand hurts. So, and I joked yesterday with the group. It's hand issues are a problem because it seems like we have to use them a lot in GGA. It's you guys make us use our hands a lot. Really weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, mentally it's fine. What I am starting to wonder about is what the hell's next after this, right? Because now, okay, I'm done with that. Now what am I going to do with all that time, Joe? It's right.
Well,
exactly.
Jason Wood is starting to condition me to the grave, 52. He's starting like half and then he's adding it. So
that's so horrible. I mean, like, look, no, that's just sounds so fucking awful because the 100 cal stuff and then like, it's just so hard. That workout is so intense. It's very intense.
You can just time cap yourself.
Get it in. Yeah. Well, yeah. But to get that under an hour, I mean, I honestly don't even know how close I am. Well, I suck at double unders too, so it's not really like practical to get it under an hour, but yeah, it's that's a brutal one.
So I'll be very interested where you end up because the entire idea behind Meet Yourself Saturday was from having concluded my first year of Murph. And then like Joe said, I didn't know what to do on Saturdays anymore. I enjoyed that. So that's why we started doing Meet Yourself Saturday, is coming up with harder workouts to kind of fill that void on Saturday. But then even after, some time, when I took that time off, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I think I want to do Murph again. And so I did. And I'm wondering if that's going to happen to some of you guys, because it's so much worse to do it again. And that's why I'm not like you guys get me all motivated. I'm like, okay, yeah, just do it again. But I won't allow myself to commit to doing it because I'm like, no, a year is a long time. Like I might do it occasionally here, like once a month or whatever, but doing it full year. And you're crazy, man. I think doing that many times is insane. The only person crazier than you, I think, is I forgot his name. He was doing Murph every single day. I think he made it, some 100 odd days in or whatever, but then he ended up with a massive back injury. And I was like, okay, maybe that's where the line of too much is at, And so it's an intense thing. It's crazy what people have seen. These 24-hour one. We had Lisa Kelly on, she's probably got the female record for most Murphs in 24 hours. My buddy's friends with a guy in Charleston who did the 24 hours. It's just crazy. This workout has bred so many different challenges and quite incredible physical feats over long timelines.
Well, let's just be very clear about why this is possible. It's possible because I'm doing hard to kill. Like, that keeps me very balanced and healthy, right, for this challenge. Like, I don't think, you could do this 365 days a year. I think it's possible. You'd have to really dial back the intensity. But, everyone that's doing the Murph challenges in our group is doing it on top of their other training, which I think is, that makes it a significant challenge, right? Because you're doing this in your free time, quote unquote, but also you're keeping us really, really healthy through the training, right? So, I feel like it's just this, all the credit goes to the programming, right? And then that makes you ready to do things like this.
So the official goal is 200 plus Murphs in a year. Just writing that down. That's amazing, man. Well, that's cool. What else has changed, I guess, over the last year? I could probably ask you a million questions about Murph. Just the whole process fascinates me. The sub community within the community of people doing it. Cause I saw, more people have they just started, right? Like you guys kind of started together and then more people were like, it's a new year. They want a new challenge. And so I think that's all really cool, but I'd love to hear what else updates you have, health, fitness, anything related that you think we should be updated on.
Well, I made my gym really awesome in September over Labor Day weekend, which I shared pictures on because I'm a basement gym guy and it was pretty depressing down there. But so equipment wise, right? Like I totally started over with that basement gym. It's pretty small, right? It's kind of a long, narrow room. It's actually a little less than 9 feet wide. So, you can basically have a barbell. And so I got rid of my full cage because the other frustrating thing is I have this sump pump well with the pipe that goes through like part of it. So I have I got rid of my cage and went to a half rack. And then made my own DIY fat pull-up bar that's hanging from the floor joists so that I can get my head in between it for pull-ups. And then I have this half rack, which allowed me to basically take all that space in the gym and just have it open. So I was able to fit my rower in there. I've got a lot more room for doing calisthenics and just, things like kettlebell work, whatever. Did the full mats and everything. So, and I added my rave lights that everybody makes fun of me for, my LED lights that
your red light district,
change the color of the lighting in the room to suit my mood. And then I got the True Form in October, which doesn't fit in the gym, but it's like right outside the storage room door. So that's I needed that if I was going to stay consistent on Murph. Also, it's just so nice to have for all the mixed modal stuff, because anytime we're doing running, where it's mixed modal or something, it's like I had to row or I had to ride the Airdyne, and I really wanted to focus on running this year to get better at it, because particularly zone 2. So the True Form's been great, and that's, I would say, if there's anything that's been my focus over the last year, it's been really improving zone 2 running in addition to Murph. So there's a bunch of us that have been working and kind of chasing that 10K goal in zone 2. And at that time it was true zone 2 as well, not math. So I'm in another group. So I'm in that group with all the thick boys. But then I have another small group that it's a little less active, but it's like Mark Bishop, Darren Gaunt, Jeremy Puskas, and Dominic Decker, and we chat a little bit too about things. So
didn't someone get it? Didn't Mark get it? Or I thought someone got the ting.
I think I've definitely done it. I did it in, I think, September. It was like, I was right on. It was pretty cool. And then, I think Mark, I think Dominic maybe has done it. But it's all very weather dependent too. Like, it's got to be like the right temperature, the right wind, the right.
My zone 2 in the summertime around here it's like dumb, because I could go outside and just from the heat start like get into zone 2 from like the heat. So zone 2 training becomes very challenging. It's a lot more fun in the fall and the spring around here for me, because I'm like, oh yeah, you can do these. You're not as bad as you think that you are. Cause in the summer it makes me think I'm just like not a fit individual. That's the summers around here.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I think, that's one of the most common discussion things is zone 2 running in the community, because people really struggle with it. Right. And I struggled with it too. Like I took the whole winter of 1920 off from running because I didn't have a treadmill and I was just rowing. And the first time I ran was in April, and it was the EO3 5K. And it was awful. It was awful. Like my legs didn't work. But yeah, when I first did my like very first 50-minute or hour zone 2 run in like late April, I was barely able to keep a 12-minute mile, 11 and a half, 12-minute mile. But a couple things just that, I'd listened to James Nestor on a podcast. I can't remember which one, but just talking about nasal breathing, that got me thinking about it. And yeah, it was really like focusing on nasal breathing, which I don't think makes that big of a difference. But it teaches you how to breathe to keep your heart rate low. Like I don't need to nasal breathe to stay in zone 2 anymore.
Right.
But I did need to learn to breathe.
And I think if you have any sort of, let's just say stress response to training that elevate your heart rate, which is very common, people who, I don't know, just more high strung individuals. I know that was my case for a long time. Like I had to learn to breathe. That was my biggest problem for years, was just I felt fitter than my breath would allow. Like my breath would get out of sync with what I wanted to do. So learning how to do nasal breathing and control your breathing, it helps a ton. It's not necessarily the magic. This will get you into zone 2, but it teaches you how to be like a better athlete and breathe better.
Yeah. Like when you breathe through your nose, you don't have a choice but to breathe full breaths.
Right.
Because, you cannot hyperventilate through your nose. It doesn't work. You'll just blow snot all over your chin or something. I don't know.
Rowing's especially hard for breathing.
What was that? Sorry.
Rowing's especially hard for breathing to get it into rhythm.
Yeah, because that's very rhythmic, right? Like the whole thing. And then you're compressing right in the catch. Yeah. I agree. I really agree. I've never thought about it actually.
How do you like that true form?
It's great. It's hard. That's the only thing, which I do like about it too. And then the time is a little bit off too, which is a little weird. I didn't learn that until very recently when I did a full hour. It's like 2 minutes. The timer on the true form is 2 minutes faster per hour, which someone else confirmed as well. It's kind of weird.
Dude, I've noticed a lot of little weird things like that. It's come down to where I only do time intervals on the true form, not and those are basically on my watch. So like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, as opposed to trying to hit distance goals and everything else, because it really is. It's like you said, it's harder. So my heart rate is higher. And when I'm trying to run at a certain pace and go a certain distance, because if I go to a track versus a true form, I feel like I'm really fast at the track, and then the true form's like, you're not so great, and so that became challenging over time. But I do love it, man. Like you said, the mixed modal stuff is awesome. What really challenges me, and you mentioned you did it, is long runs on the true form. How do you like long runs on the true form? Those are brutal for me.
If it's not fast, I don't mind it. Like when we do and it's not very often a hard to kill where we have like the long hard intervals, like the 20-minuters or those really suck on the true form, I feel like. But the zone 2 runs I don't mind as much. But it's I'm super excited to get back outside because I know it's harder. Like it's objectively harder to run on the true form. And I think the reason it's harder, well, my hypothesis with why it's harder is because you have to run with proper form on it. Like you can't heel strike, and like when you get choppy and lazy, like you can't run on it. It's just not possible. So I'm excited to get outside because I know I'm going to be a lot faster than I was before I had the true form, just from all the miles I'll have put on it in the winter. So
we're going to be opposites because once the oven turns on here, I'll be a true form runner. Right now I'm enjoying the weather here because we're running outside all the time. But once it gets to 105, 110, I'm true forming it.
Yeah, man. I'm
sort of shocked that it changes that much. I feel like it's just, to me, it would be always hot.
It's still in the 60s, like right now, regularly. And if it's breezy, yeah. It's a long sleeve with shorts. We actually wore pants the other day.
Yeah, that's, I'm looking forward to Joe's summer. I'm just so looking forward to it.
You're just like sitting over there with an evil grin, waiting for the suffering.
Well, you mentioned 110. That's not like unheard of here. So I think you're gonna get worse there. You're gonna get to like 120, 130.
I'm saying that's like my cutoff point to when I switch, because it's gonna get to 125, 130.
Right.
That's when I'm like, no longer can take it. I'm going inside.
Oh man. I just know the only time I've actually worked out in that temperature is in my garage, my new garage, where it actually gets to 120, and fitness is almost impossible. Like it's so hot. You get so fatigued. Let's say fitness is not possible. Intensity is impossible. That's what I mean by that. It's like, everything is just like, I'm just going to move through this and finish it. But I can't go fast.
It's going to be zone 2 stretching.
Yeah. Yoga.
Stretching.
We'll have a yoga track by the time Joe's done.
Yeah.
You got to do kettlebell ladders, swing ladders in your sauna. Like just see how high your heart rate goes.
See,
I can't stand all the way up in my sauna, so I have to. I could try though.
Well, yeah. I mean, just keep that healthy bend in the knees, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would work. That's a terrible idea. It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
All right, man. Well, let's get to some of these questions. See if you have updates on them. The hardest workout you've ever done.
Dude, I'm still like butthurt about Blitzkrieg last February. I mean, in the just inserted into the week. Like, it's a different mentality if it falls on a Meet Yourself Saturday, because you're like, you're puckered and ready for it. That just totally caught me off guard, and I went way too hard.
Anytime like max running is involved after something, which happens more often than not on hard to go track. But
See, that was before I had the true form, and it was winter, so I did it on the rower, and it was very max effort for 20 minutes after. Very, very max effort.
that's awesome.
Fetal
And
position recovery activated.
now it's official.
Yeah.
It's an official workout. All right, man. In your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
It's sort of a common answer, but it's just consistency with the training. And I think more than that, even it's trying to be consistent with your intensity, right? Because you need to find a level of performance that you want to execute on daily. And, yo-yoing between super high intensity with your training and super low intensity, or not, just missing days because you went too hard, like that's not mental toughness, right? Like breaking yourself off and then missing 2 days, that's not mental toughness, right? Like you got to be smart about it and be really consistent. So that would be my challenge to people.
I think that's a great point. So I'm working on some new information for EO3 coaching. It's all about base building and lower intensity stuff. And one of the things, the messages I'm trying to get across, because we get people who come in who are quote unquote hardcore. They're not professional athletes. They just have a hardcore mentality. And I keep coming to this point that a hardcore athlete unwilling to do the easy things is quickly going to become like an intermediate or beginner athlete for life, because they're unwilling to do those things that you're talking about. So I think that's a really good point, in that really people need to think and reflect on their training and how they execute it to, if they want to achieve, like if they want to continue to make progress. Like you don't have to become a professional athlete, but nobody wants to stall out and stop seeing progress. It might be in different areas that we see progress, but no one wants to just be done and be like, well, I guess that's it. My athletic career is over. I think you can always progress in some way, like you trying to hit or you've done it, but like the 10K in zone 2, that's a very specific thing that you could work on for a long time. You could do challenges like Murph. You could, it doesn't always have to be these crazy PRs of intensity, right?
Well, I want to say something, because I think I wanted to say this on the podcast, and I totally forgot about it when we were talking about Murph, and I forgot about it again when we were talking about zone 2, but what am I trying to achieve through this training? It's effortless achievement. That is what I'm trying to do, right? So, when it comes to the zone 2 running, or when it comes to Murph, right? I want to be able to do these things and not be broken, right? That's a good goal. Like that effortless achievement is, I think, that's like the gold star of an athlete, right? You can do things that other people can't do, and it doesn't break you. So that's very much how I'm approaching my training, to be that kind of a person.
That's awesome. All right. If you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I don't even know what I said last time, and now I'm struggling, but I think I have to say pull-up bar, because you can always do Murph if you have a pull-up bar.
Easy.
Awesome.
What would you want to add to your gym? You have to come across the true form, so that's usually like the golden tier one. But
he's got a Scout Hyper too.
Yeah.
So.
Jeez.
Yeah, I did. I got the Scout Hyper too. I think I would like to have just some cool, people have the really big spaces, and they have a lot of cool stuff in there, like ropes they could climb, and different like goofy stuff like that. I think that would be cool, because right now, my gym's perfect for being a well-rounded athlete. I have everything I need, but it would be cool to have like ropes or, pegboards and just different stuff where you could, kind of screw around on a Sunday and do different things.
Adult jungle gym.
Bigger space, I guess. Yeah. It's definitely how I would hurt myself.
That's how it happens.
Yeah.
All right, man. What is the best advice you have for all the garage gym athletes out there listening right now?
I think it's find some people in the community that you can build good relationships with and stay in constant contact. That's been a huge, like, our community is so awesome, right? I mean, look, like the Facebook group is great, but I would challenge people to find like-minded people that have kind of similar goals and, similar interests, and really form strong relationships, because that's really going to make all of your, it's going to make all of you better, and it's going to make you all, more part of the community, and just really deepen your, your investment in kind of that journey. So make some friends, I guess.
Awesome, Chris. Well, it's always fun to chat with you, man. And I always feel like every time we talk, we're cutting the conversation short. So no doubt we will be chatting again. And I definitely want to hear the end of this journey. So, maybe get you back on in May, Memorial Day, see how things went, see after you're given some time to reflect on what you've done, and also maybe hear what's next. But I do appreciate you being a big part of the community. You're definitely a leader in our community, and I really enjoy having you around, man. So thanks for being here, and thanks for your time today.
You bet. Thanks for building this, guys. It's awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.